You know, it is a hot button issue. A lot of people talking about it regarding the state's education system. How young is too young? How old is too old to start kindergarten? Currently, children in Connecticut must turn 5 by January 1st to enter kindergarten. Well, there's a new bill that would move that deadline to October 1st. The Board of Education has already approved that change, and if lawmakers agree, it could go into effect in 2015. So this morning, we are discussing it with radio host Lisa Wexler. A lot of people talking about this. So let's talk about both sides. Supporters basically say we need to level the playing field, because what's happening right now is you've got a 4-year-old and you've got a 6-year-old, and they're both in kindergarten, and the 6-year-old has the advantage.
Theoretically, although the longitudinal studies seem to show over time that the 6-year-olds that enter kindergarten are not only not necessarily favored, but by the time they're 19 and graduating high school, they are apparently at some kind of disadvantages in school, including socially. So you wonder, is it a chicken or an egg approach? In other words, are parents self-selecting and starting kids at 6 because there are already remediation issues that may not be addressed in regular school, and they continue to climb as the kid gets older? You wonder what's going on to hear a longitudinal study like that.
Sure. And I've talked to parents, and maybe they didn't hear those other studies, but their thinking is, I want to help my child the best I can.
That's true.
And if I can get my kid going up against a younger kid, and then they're going to do better in that class, and so on and so forth, and then they get into a better college, and you can see the theory, right? Because you want your kid to do better.
And the problem is that kindergarten isn't just kindergarten anymore. As we continue to make more academic demands on kids as they're younger and younger, parents are understandably thinking, well, wait a minute, maybe my 5-year-old boy, and I say boys more than girls because they don't sit still, they don't attend. Studies have shown that the regular school day is not as advantageous to boys as it is for girls in terms of learning. Maybe my boy needs another year or a half a year. And this is the problem. But right now, Connecticut essentially lets the parent decide. By changing the deadline, it will be not up to the parents as much. And what will you do with a mostly kindergarten-ready kid who turns 5 November 15th and wastes a whole year in a preschool program, or requires a parent to pay $14,000 on average for that year of private preschool kindergarten? And that's the other problem. I know Elliot Landon, who is the superintendent of schools in Westport, was quoted in a recent New York Times article as saying, give me the kids at whatever age. By the end of 3rd grade, most of these kids developmentally are equal anyway. They're all reading and writing at the same pace, more or less. By the end of 3rd grade, there's a catch-up. So he said, give them to me at 4 or 6. It doesn't matter. The sooner the better. Because if there is a remediation problem, I can deal with it in my school district.
What about these parents? Maybe they don't have enough money to get their kids into some kind of school because they're 4 years old, and what they like to do is they get them into kindergarten because at least it's a program, and now at least they're learning. Whereas if they can't get them into kindergarten, now they're stuck with these kids. They maybe don't have money, like the $14,000 or whatever.
So it may continue to disadvantage those families that can't afford more private preschool. By making the deadline shorter, you may be disadvantaging the poor kids.
It seems like you've got to draw a line somewhere.
I know.
I mean, right? You just have to do it. Connecticut is the last state to have January as the deadline. It seems most of the states are right around the September, August.
They're all moving back. 38 states, including California, have moved back and back. I'm not sure what we're doing to these kids to have them be graduating at 19. I don't know. I mean, personally, I think it should be left to the individual child and parent decision.
So what do you think happens? I mean, the Board of Education, it sounds like they have already approved the change. Now lawmakers are going to look at it. We're the last state in the nation.
I know.
We're going along like sheep.
Sounds that way, yeah. I mean, if you really look at it in between, New York and New Jersey allow this to be cited by district versus by state mandate, which might not be a bad idea in Connecticut, where every district has a very different student population. Maybe that's the answer.
Yeah, it's a good idea. You see what each town, each city, each district wants to do on their own.
Yes.
Lisa Wexler, always good to see you. Fun to talk to you. Okay, don't forget Lisa Wexler. You can listen to her radio show Monday through Friday, 4 to 6. News Talk, 1400 WSTC, 1350 WNLK, Fairfield County. There you go, Lisa. All right, Sarah, over to you.
Thanks, guys. And today's health